there's a very tricky to find bug that happens sometimes. Let's consider this stripped down version of the code. So I've got an ellipse, it's moving to the right by 10 every time, and I'm trying to screen wrap. I'm saying if the x-coordinate is larger than or equal to 600, let's set it to be 0. So I'm saying if it's hit the right-hand side of the screen, go to the left-hand side. If it's less than or equal to 0, so if it hits the left-hand side, then set it to 600, go to the right-hand side. Let's watch what happens. I run it, and it looks like it's just stopped. It's just dead stopped right there on the right-hand side. So what's happening? You can see the answer if you think very carefully line by line about what exactly is happening with the numbers inside the variables. So let's imagine that the circle has been moving and our x-coordinate is 590, and we're here on line 25. We hit line 26 and we add 10 to it, so now x equals 600. We're back at the top of draw. We repaint the screen. We draw the ellipse at 600. Now we say, is it true that x is larger than or equal to 600? The answer is yes, so we set x to be 0. Okay, but we haven't drawn anything yet. We've set the number x to be 0, but we haven't actually drawn an ellipse at 0. So now we keep going, and now we say, is it true that x is less than or equal to 0? Well, now the answer is also yes, because we just set it to be 0 a second ago. So it falsely thinks that we've actually hit the left-hand side of the screen when actually we just warped ourselves there. So it sets the x-coordinate right back to 600, and now I continue going, and I add 10, and now x is 610, which is off the screen. And we continue to go, and now it's just off the screen. So that's the bug. I'd say probably the best way to fix the bug, well, there's a couple ways to fix the bug. One is you can add an else statement here, which means that only one of these two things is going to run per loop. Either x is larger than or equal to 600, in which case we do this and keep going from line 23, or if this isn't true, then we test to see is it off the left-hand side and set it and keep going. That's probably the best solution to this. A different thing you could do is remove the equals condition and just say if it's greater than 600, set x to 0. Because then over here, if x is 0, it won't be true that x is less than or equal to 0. And so it won't try and reset the x-coordinate. So either of those solutions works, but I prefer the if-else. Because that captures the spirit of what we're trying to do anyway. It's not going to be bouncing off both the left-hand side and the right-hand side in the same frame. So it makes sense to say either it's hit the right-hand side, or if not, maybe it's hit the left-hand side.